At the time you and your staff deleted nearly 32,000 emails, about half of the total volume, were you aware that the server was going to be sought as evidence by federal authorities?
No, but let me clarify this, because, you know, there's much misinformation going on around here. And let me just start with the basic facts. I have said it wasn't the best choice to use a personal email. It was a mistake. However, I am not alone in that. Many people in the government, past and current, have on occasion or as a practice done the same. Nothing I sent was marked classified or that I received was marked classified. And specifically with respect to your question, every government official, and this is a legal theory, not just a theory, it's a legal rule, gets to choose what is personal and what is official. What we turned over were more than 30,000 emails that I assumed were already in the government system, Brett, because they were sent to state.gov addresses.
Sure, but there were some that were just recently discovered and turned over.
No, that was in the State Department, not in me.
Okay.
I've turned over everything.
That was Hillary Clinton at last night's Democratic town hall right here on the Fox News channel. Question in detail by Bret Baier about the lingering email controversy. Will this issue hurt her campaign as the FBI deepens its investigation after a Clinton aide who set up her server received immunity from prosecution? Did her answers satisfy critics? Mike Lawrence is a former White House appointee under George W. Bush, a conservative political commentator and public policy advisor. Karine Jean-Pierre, a Democratic strategist. Welcome to you both. Mike, let me start with you. You know, she says Colin Powell did it. There's nothing wrong with it. There was nothing marked classified. She's not worried about an investigation. Is that enough?
It's not enough that she's not worried, because the American public deserves some sort of choice in November. And if it means that ultimately Hillary Clinton is indicted either before or after the convention, it could result in there being no effective choice for about 60% of American voters. Because if we're seeing that there is Trump or even worse, Cruz on the Republican side, and then Bernie Sanders or an embattled Clinton on the Democrat side, where do those people who want a legitimate candidate who is more in line with the mainstream of American thinking going to go as a choice? What I've called for is a deadline of April 8th for the Attorney General to decide one way or another whether Hillary Clinton will be prosecuted. And that gives people till June 9th, the first date in North Carolina, the deadline for the independent to get on a ballot, so that then an independent could be run in all 50 states if indeed we're going to have a choice between non-viable candidates representing the parties.
Karine, do you think that's even realistic? I mean, you think she's going to get indicted?
No, I actually don't think she's going to be indicted. Look, if we look at all the information that we currently have today, not 6 months from now, but the information that we have today, there was no criminal activity. Look, Hillary Clinton, Secretary Clinton, has apologized, and she said, look, I made a mistake. And yes, does she have to work on regaining the American people's trust? Most definitely, absolutely. But here's the thing, Eric, I think what the emails does show, that what we have seen in email, is this was a Secretary of State that was completely and totally engaged, never turned off the light, was constantly trying to fix and figure out how do we make things better. If you read her emails, you see that. So, and I think that's the type of person that we want.
Oh, you're
right?
certainly putting the best gloss on that. That shows that she's, you know, a working Secretary of State. But I mean, there's the question that some say there was this classified material. Well, I mean, others say it's just grossly negligent, Mike, that she was doing this with this thing in her closet.
Of course, all of this is highly politicized, but we have to look at the law. And the law is indicative of whether or not there will be indictment. And we know also that career attorneys and FBI officials are saying that if there's not an indictment, they are likely to resign. And so we know that there's strong enough evidence for them to feel comfortable doing that. And this outstanding question creates a lot of uncertainty for voters. So we need to have an answer. And people say that, well, we need to let justice play itself out. Well, what's the justice associated with ultimately having potentially a constitutional crisis if we've got a nominee who's under indictment, or worse, a president who is ultimately found guilty of a crime? How do we deal with that? The Attorney General has an obligation to ensure that we expedite justice here.
We're up against a hard break. Sorry, Karine, last word.
No, I was just going to say, look, we can't control when this investigation is going to end or when they're going to come out with their verdict.
The Attorney General can.
Well, we don't know, but I'm saying that we don't know when it's going to happen. Yes, you're saying the Attorney General can, that's fine, but we still don't know when it's going to happen. In the meantime, we have to deal with what's here and now, and right now...
It needs to happen by April 8th.
Okay, great. Right now, there is no criminal activity. Right now. I don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now.
Facts suggest otherwise.
Well, I am talking about the facts. I am.
That'll have to be the last word on that as this continues, and we will be right back.